Okay, let's talk about them dogs, man. What do you think? You know they got Georgia ranked in the SEC #1 in the SEC. I think the ranking came out, ahead of Texas.
2026 season underway. Georgia Bulldogs right here in Athens, Georgia. The town is always up on that. The go Dogs, and so we're going to discuss that season right here. I think I'm going to say Kirby's done an outstanding job of. I think he's been here since 2016.
Oh well, it's undoubted he's been great.
Former dog himself.
I just don't like his football philosophy. I really don't. I think that it has not evolved. He's heavily, depending on the run and wearing teams down.
Yeah.
That playing from behind, I don't think is a good strategy. But when you heavily run and your strategy is to wear a team down in the trenches, and that means, you gotta. That means that you probably gonna be playing from behind because these teams start out fast, man. You got Peyton Manning. No, what's his name? No, not Eli.
Not Eli. I'm sorry.
Arch Manning down in Texas with what's this kid out of Auburn? This wide receiver, man. You got one of the best receiving corps in they're gonna start fast. If you start fast like they did this year, they play from behind a lot. I just don't like that.
Well, I think it's time of possession. with Kirby. I think Georgia's very, very good and fantastic with recruiting great running backs. And if you're gonna run the ball, you're gonna time a possession. So sometimes you can put up a lot of points, and a lot of times what happens with the Dogs, a lot of times that I've seen over the years, when you do get behind, now you throw the ball to your great receivers. We're also pretty decent at recruiting receivers. Lots of receivers that's in the league right now. But Kirby is a physical coach. He likes to run the ball. He likes to dominate the time of possession, and he likes to play physical. He likes to take the football away. Pretty much the way he played. He played here. He was a safety along with Champ Bailey and Robert Edwards, my fraternity brother, that is actually assistant running backs coach on that Georgia team there. Good shout out to my frat Robert Edwards there. But along with those players, they were pretty dominant. So he has a physical mentality of playing football that he likes to continually play. Now, what happens there with Kirby is sometimes I think the uproar in Athens is always about the decision making on offense. What plays we're calling, and that always goes back to Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo gets a lot of criticism. I like the play calls of Mike Bobo for the most part, but I hear on the outside noise, Mike Bobo gets a lot of criticism. I want to ask you your opinion about the Georgia play calling.
I think that Mike Bobo get too much criticism. The game plan and the play selection is Kirby Smart's decision.
Mm-hmm.
The buck stopped with the head coach. I don't care what nobody say. I've seen too many times where Nick Saban put the headset on and take over the play calling when it comes down the stretch. I don't think that we can ever blame the offensive coordinator, because I think they design plays and they don't necessarily can be held responsible for calling plays.
Well,
that's just the way I think about
it. Absolutely. What happens is typically the week before the game, you dial up plays based on the team, the opponent that you're going to be playing, and so
and the sequences
exactly
that you're going to call them in to set the play up. There are plays that you want to set up the play action. You want to get them peeking in the backfield. So you can go on. A lot of plays are designed to set them up, and I think Mike Bobo do a pretty decent job with that.
I thought so too. Kirby isn't very much involved in the game planning from week to week, depending on the team that they're playing. Again, the criticism a lot of times around Athens is a lot of times when we're doing well, he doesn't get the credit. Bobo doesn't. When he doesn't do well, he gets all the criticism. I like Bobo as a play caller. It just depends on. I think he does a fantastic job based on what we do. But I want to know, where do you think that we are going to do as a team this season? What do you think the record is going to be this year? We got 12 games, and what do you think Georgia thinks?
I think
you think there's a 10. You think there's an over 10 games, or there's an under 10 game record?
I think that was probably right at 10-game record.
So you're saying that we'd probably go 10-2?
You know, I just don't think that the SEC is nearly as dominant as people want to think it is, or the way it used to be. I think that those teams like the Ohio State and of course, you know, Indiana, those teams have gained a lot of ground, and not to mention the fact in the SEC has gained a lot of ground. You know,
LSU. Who's that coach? Who's that coach at LSU?
Arkansas.
No, who's that coach at LSU?
I know that they got what's his name? Lane Kiffin. But you know, Lane Kiffin left a really good quarterback in.
Yes, he did at Ole Miss.
At Ole Miss, so you know.
Trinidad Chambliss.
So I think that the SEC is going to be very competitive, and I think that people are going to be surprised with what Alabama are able to do this year. They, you know, dismiss them if you want to be at your own appeal, but then that's the SEC.
Right.
So you know, you got to play and win. But I think Georgia. It's a bit.
So you say 10. So you saying 10-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And losing the playoff.
Losing the playoff. Okay.
I don't think they're gonna win a national championship.
You don't think so?
I really don't.
I think you think that's done.
I just don't think they're gonna win a national championship.
Okay.
And I hope they do.
Y'all heard it from Hollis.
I hope they do. I hope they do. God knows I hope they do, because winning in Athens is a fun thing.
Our quarterback. You think that he is?
Gunner?
Think Gunner is better than Carson Beck that we had, or you think he's a better, more polished quarterback?
I don't think he's better than Carson Beck, but I think that he has a few intangibles that I think
he runs the ball better.
Yeah, that what I call translate would be the better word.
I think he's a little more courageous in running that football.
Exactly, that's courageous. What I'm saying, man. I like his moxie.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You know, and you know, I watched him play at Rayburn. I mean, in high school, I went to a couple of games. I drove way up to North Georgia.
That's a while.
To watch him play.
Right.
You know, and this kid, you know, he ain't afraid to run the ball. You know, he got the moxie, and I like him. I just like him, and then he has that winning spirit. And I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he win it all. I really don't. Right. You know what I mean? I think that much of him. Yeah.
Okay, if we get to the SEC tournament, do you think we can turn the corner if we get there? I think the schedule is going to be pretty. I'm not going to say it's going to be. I need to be
asking you questions about it, because you probably know more about that team than I do.
That's
you know
that's hey. That's
I'm a pro football fan.
We share the wealth here, brother. You and I.
100% with you. I need to be asking you that. Answer that question for me. As
if you asked me that question. I think if we get to the SEC tournament, I think Kirby, in most cases, that's when he does the best coaching. I think he does the best coaching. I think the team rallies around him. I think a lot of times with Kirby, once you get to the tournament, I think he does a fantastic job of getting the most out of that team. Kirby tends to take that team to another level. I think the heights in which that he gets the best out of his team is when the game is on the line. Now, do we make some bonehead plays in the games? Yes, but all teams do make those bonehead plays in the game. But it's his decision making that comes down, and that is coaching, because that the players can only get you to a certain point, but at some point during the game, you got to make a call or some decisions based on certain situations and circumstances in that game that's going to either elevate you over the top or that's going to get you kicked out of the tournament.
Here's the thing that I think that Kirby and the Dog fans is that they don't need to rely on a selecting committee to determine their fate. Win the SEC, so there won't be any question about where you're gonna be seated at in the standing. You know, whether you're gonna have a bye week in the first round, You know, because there have been arguments to be made that having that week off is not necessarily the best thing.
I think it's a deterrent. Actually, I think a player getting no, I'm sorry. I think a team getting a bye is more of a disadvantage than an advantage. To me, I think when a team is on a roll, I think when you consistently used to playing week and week and week, I think I would if I was a player on that Georgia team, I would prefer to keep playing that next week.
Yeah, I think that anybody would prefer to keep the momentum going, but then the reality is that if you got some injuries
you got
to
some
be
injuries,
able to have that week to lick your wound,
right.
You know, and
especially
with
with those
long
key
period
players,
of time, it could be to your advantage.
To your advantage.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Again, exciting season coming up in 2026.
We're gonna end this conversation like it's a strive, but I can't wait to get into this conversation about the players getting paid now.
The NIL money.
The NIL
we will discuss
money.
that money.
That NIL money.
That NIL money is real.
You know,
I've seen that up and close.
Yeah.